CFG GameCast episode number 114, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike and discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays and we release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love. Give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
You know, it's been a long week, Davis. Such a long week. What did I play this week? I feel like this week went by so fast. I played a lot of Dark Deception this week. I'm really digging that game. It makes me very angry, but I like that game. It's a puzzle runner.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw you've been playing like crazy, trying to go away. Like it just looks stressful, and I was like, nah. I'm not gonna ever do that.
The last round I played was so stressful. Those guys, because it's like red light, green light. You have to like turn around and they stop. And you're like, okay. And then I try to teleport behind them, but if my mouse is not perfectly freaking straight, I hit the wall and they get me. So that was frustrating.
Oh my God.
It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, this week's been a lot of like doctor's appointments, and I had a surgical procedure earlier this week. So I'm trying to like get my wits about me. But that only lasted for like less than 24 hours. I feel like it's so pointless. Wow, insurance, am I right, guys? Ugh.
Well, that's a whole different podcast.
What's it like to be a robot? Well, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't.
Yeah, I know, right? And you know who was basically the model for the X-Men mutant Bishop in all the X-Men series.
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Chilling, brother. It's been good. We finally did it, guys. We beat Metal Gear Solid 5 in your face. It was really fun. We got the credit rolls. It was absolutely bonkers. It made me so sad just knowing that that's the last time that Kojima is going to work on that IP. And it's just like, there's so much more that you could do with that story and what they were planning on doing. So an end of an era for sure, but I'm so glad that I finally got through it. And you know, we're still gonna make that donation in Lex's name, but
you don't have to.
This was a proud pride for me. So and then I've been running through. I got back onto Deathloop a little bit. We interviewed Tom Solta, who's the composer for Deathloop, so that was a lot of fun. That dude's really, really legit. And then I started playing Jurassic Park Evolution. It was
the first one or the second one?
The first one. I know the second one just came out, but I had never played it. I love strat games, so it's like one of my offline pleasures. And I started that up, and I'm really enjoying that campaign. So it's been pretty chill, pretty good. So
I need to play that.
Awesome, yeah.
Definitely was really great. Well, congratulations. I know it only took you 6 years to beat Metal Gear Solid 5.
Or no, technically it was 5 years, I think.
2 years later.
Yeah. Huh? Because the children didn't count the last time for it, but heaven forbid, second time in a row. Okay, we do it for the children this time, and it worked, but it was good.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm doing some pretty cool stuff right now too. I'm actually going to be after this be working on the overlays for our 24-hour stream next week in Phoenix, Arizona, which, by the way, folks, if you want to, so it's going to be a fun 24 hours with the whole crew is going to be there live at a video game store for 24 hours. So definitely go to CFG Games, be a part of the conversation. We're just going to be messing around like crazy for 24 hours and go loopy. So that's going to end up happening. So that's going to be really fun. But during this week, I got a lot of stuff done, surprisingly enough. Like the biggest thing, get this, Smitty. So I got Guardians of the Galaxy. I beat Guardians of the Galaxy. It took me about 3 days to beat. Then after that, I was like, you know what? I should really write a review. So I wrote the review. I wrote a full-fledged, like 1,400 word review of it. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make a video, like a video review of this. So now I'm doing a video edit review of this game. So it just starts going up and up and up. And I have to say, I really did enjoy it, and it was fun. Yeah, so that was good. So I did that for the first half of the day, the week, and then the second half, I got a closed key for this game called Lost Ark that Amazon Games is doing. And I played a little bit of it. I'm loving it already. So I'm definitely going to be messing around with it seriously tomorrow and see how far I'm going to get on this until the official game comes out. So so yeah, it's been really good. So definitely can't say no. Can't say no. So anyways, let's get down to it. I just came with blank. I don't even know what I was going to say. But I know y'all don't want to talk about me fumbling in my words. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we normally like to do each and every week. Like the beret, Davis. This isn't a beret. What? I don't wear berets. I should. I would look tight in a beret.
I have a couple.
Yeah, can you imagine me? If I wear a black beret, wouldn't I look like a Black Panther at that point? Like the whole deal with it.
Basically.
But yeah.
It's called a beanie.
That's a beanie. That's the Katsuki symbol too. So there you go. So people don't know if people thought I didn't know my anime. But anyways, let's get this party started. So each of us chooses a topic or discussion from the previous week within the world of gaming. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live to be a part of the conversation. So if there's something you want to chime in about on whatever we're talking about, we love to have the conversation with you itself. So we'll get down to it. Robert S. Craig says, no beret, please. Well, since you said so nicely, no beret. Beret's gonna happen. Okay, so my topic is a very interesting one. And I'm at a point where I hate kind of getting back to this because we all know the whole stuff that's happening with Activision Blizzard and the bleeding that Blizzard is currently experiencing with people losing their jobs because of the misconduct, the toxic environment that it caused that was over there. But this one I was like, okay, I don't see how this is going to stop making this company bleed. Like, when are they just going to say Blizzard? We're going to drop the Blizzard name and we're just going to call it Activision or something or whatever is going to happen. But because now their two games, their two biggest games that they were working on this whole time have officially been indefinitely delayed. So Activision Blizzard announced earlier this week that Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are indefinitely delayed. Delayed. And what makes matters worse is that the Jen O'Neill is leaving just after 3 months, leading the company. the company. So basically, she was, if you know who Jen O'Neill was the person that replaced the person that left the recent CEO that left Blizzard already. So she was only there for a brief moment and then she's bouncing. So this is telling me two things in itself. There's no direction of this company right now. There's absolutely no direction of what's going on and what they're planning on doing for this for this thing. And I remember a couple of episodes back, like Smitty was already under the thing saying like, yeah, this Overwatch 2 is not coming out. And I was like, no, it still might come out. I mean, we didn't know, but now it's like, I have no freaking idea what is going on. Like, this is unforeseen territory that I have ever seen. Like, because like, don't get me wrong, we've seen, I mean, bad work environments for gaming is not a new thing. This isn't Activision Blizzard did not write the book to that at all. Like, but for it to get hit this badly, for all these people losing their jobs, all these people coming and going, a large amount of different kinds of folks are just coming in, dealing with all of this. It's unbelievable. So now Activision Blizzard announced that both of the games have been delayed with no official launch windows given, and is in the likelihood that we won't see the next entries of these respective series until 2023 at the earliest. And then with Blizzard's like personal track record when things were kind of going the Blizzard way, there's already going to be. I was already expecting another delay, so really, I'm expecting some of this stuff to be 2024. And it's like, do you really think Overwatch 2, like Overwatch 2 is good? The people who are playing Overwatch still are going to wait another year for a game that you have not, who has you've explained horribly to your public, to be amping it up for the sequel to come out another year or so. So this is so I'm just like, I'm flabbergasted on what is going on. And as for Jen O'Neill, man, leaving so fast, it's like, I don't know, what are they like? Do they have a plan? Do they have a deal? They already announced that BlizzCon is not happening this next year, obviously, because they have bigger fish to fry right now, literally. But it just seems like they are the company at this point. To me, looks like they don't have a direction on what they're trying, what's being done. I mean, I understand they're trying to improve their work environment, but at this point, it's like, really? I mean, damage has been severely done at this point. So, now your games are being your games are now heavily is being involved. You don't have a game that's coming out now. It's slated until 2023, and you're freaking Blizzard. You're huge. So, I just kind of want to know what y'all's take is for this.
Man, I'm watching I'm watching gameplay of Overwatch, and I miss it so much. I miss it. But I don't want to play a game that that has that much heat on it. There's no point for me. I just feel like I'm sending a bad message if I do that. And I think, when that happened to me, I was like, I don't really care what they come out with now. I just don't. And that sucks for me because I was really excited for Overwatch 2. I loved playing Overwatch. It was funny. Someone the other day had mentioned hey, why don't you play Overwatch anymore in chat? And I read it out loud. And somebody that I was collabing with that night was like, man, you used to be so good at Lucio. I was like, aw, thanks. Doesn't matter anymore. That 32,000 hours. It is what it is. I can't get past it. And I think, again, great. If you guys can get your games out, cool. If you can't, I don't really care. I don't think that there's really a way for them to get around things. Dust in the chat said it'd be great if they could sell the IP. I would love that. I loved Diablo. I was a kid that put I had a little red wagon and I'd put my desktop and my dad would load it up for me and I'd take it all the way to my buddy's house and we'd LAN party. Those were monumental days for me as a kid. And, I don't think that I would play a game again unless they sold the IPs to somebody else.
What's funny though? Before Smitty was going to say something here, I just want to say something. What Simba Bloody Mojo says inside the Twitch chat, as well as anyone else can definitely chime in on that Jen's statement doesn't lend credibility, in my opinion, of the direction the company is going. And her statement wasn't. To be honest with you, I don't think her credibility is really do you really find it very credible in general if a person decides to leave 3 months after you're going to be especially the position she was in?
She took the reins of a sinking ship. You know what I mean? So
I would for me,
negative.
Well, for me, I think this is indicative of things and stuff that are going on behind the scenes that we as the public do not have privy to knowing. And I think this is only, like I was saying, this is only the beginning. I mean, right now, this is a civil labor issue, but we've uncovered all kinds of other criminal and things. This is only the beginning. I think she got into that position, said, I'm not, and I think that's really where, just oh my goodness, this is what's happening. This is all the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. We're just at the beginning of it. Nah, I'm good. Paycheck's not worth it. Trying to rehabilitate this is not worth it because this is an absolute mess. So this is not, I guess, surprising as far as with these games. I've been skeptical since Jeff left. I was like, okay, we have had a bunch of big departures. This all has been leading up to this point. them not having a BlizzCon, if they would have tried to put on a BlizzCon, it would have been an absolute disaster. I would have loved to have seen that dumpster fire. People would have been all over them. They said there is no way. Yeah, there's no way that we can go about having a BlizzCon this year. That would have been ridiculous. It would have been ridiculous.
When you press the fires down, here we go, guys. Let's do BlizzCon 2022.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Like, have you learned nothing? Like, come on.
They're pretending like I don't know what y'all are talking about. It's like we're Blizzard. We're the big dogs, guys. Yeah, no. It's oh man.
I mean, the other thing too is that I just don't think that because and this is the sad thing. Kind of like Lex was saying, this is one of those games that really got me into playing multiplayer games and getting to know people and become friends with people through a game. So this, Overwatch will always hold a place in my heart, but I haven't played it in months. And it's not only because of all the shenanigans that is going on. It's just there's no new. They're not even doing any more new characters or anything like that until the new Overwatch comes out. As soon as I found that out, that's when I stopped playing because I was like, "What's the point?"
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now they found out that they've indefinitely delayed Overwatch 2, and now and then you've told your whole community of Overwatch that y'all are done doing new stuff. What's going to happen in now? Because we don't have an indefinite time on when it's going to be released. The earliest is 2023, so we know that nothing's coming out in 2022. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be just supporting your thing because your microtransactions. I can't even imagine how much levels of microtransactions is currently happening in that game, which has to be fairly relatively low from when it was popular, So I just think that this is insane trouble. This is where it comes down to. When I see that, I don't see how a company can already the company's reputation is in the toilet. So there's already pissed off people. I'm pissed off at them. I'm not buying any more Blizzard stuff anytime soon. And now it's and now you're telling your people that do want to deal with this to wait another year and a half. And don't get me wrong, I'm for delays. I am really for delays. If anything, if you're wanting to perfect whatever you're doing, but from what I've gathered. Yeah, what I've gathered from Overwatch 2 is a sequel that doesn't really necessarily need to be a sequel, it could have been a push up on what the first Overwatch was going to be. And then 2, Diablo 4 has already been so vague that it's we already knew the Diablo 4 was going to probably be out there in Timbuktu. We didn't know when it was going to come out, but it's just wow, you're just now you're basically saying there is nothing that we're going to be making within the year and a half, and then but still keep this dumpster fire rolling. Dude, I don't even know what's going to happen to this thing. And who would have thought that Blizzard's the one that's experiencing all of this? Seriously,
for real.
A year and a half ago, someone said that Blizzard is going to go down because of their own of their antics caught up to them. I would have thought EA would have been the first one to do some kind of crap like that. Jesus. Yeah, so I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, this is not looking good for them at all, and I mean them as in a company. And they're clearly having struggles with these games. They're having to deal with so many different things on different levels. Yeah. It's just who's got time to make a video game when I'm trying to burn this fire and not get sued by them? And now they're talking about officially being recognized as a union, which that is something that was sent to Bobby. Is it Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby.
Why is that dude still there? He said, "I'm gonna take a pay cut." How is he still there?
I can literally fill a whole episode of this of me not understanding how Bobby Kotick is still like the leader of this of the ship here, because there's like I said, 3 things that need to happen. Like you were saying, first off, either drop Blizzard's name, because most people, I mean, at this point,
he can't be a part of it though.
The bleeding is so gone. I mean, the bleeding is so hard on this company that who's wanting to come?
The name to do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you got to drop it, is what I'm saying, or then get rid of the IP, then sell the IPs off. Because like you're saying, you have to sell the IPs off, and then secondly, you probably and then
let them die. You can't just let them die.
No, I mean, like if the original creators have a chance to pick up the games that they worked with before, I mean, why wouldn't you want them to get a chance to do it again? I mean, like, can you imagine like the person who created Overwatch, like if they're going to sell the IPs to some other company, and then if they make their own company in itself, because like some of the people did make their own little small studios and stuff. Who knows? But I mean, I'm saying like,
you think just to make some money on the back end?
Yeah, to make a little bit. I mean, like if you're going to keep it in the library, I mean, like what you're saying about Metal Gear Solid, like like to say that Kojima will never see another Kojima MGS again. I'm just saying that there's a possibility if they sell it off to a different company, more people original companies can come back to it. Is what I'm saying.
That's true.
It's like because these people are not going to ever come back, or some of these people's like reputation has gone to so bad in the shitter because of the bad behavior that was being caused. And three, the last thing to me, get rid of freaking Bobby Kotick. Bobby. Yeah. Because like I don't even understand how this guy has a job at this point. It's like at this point,
seriously,
we're gonna take a pay cut.
Yeah, we're hitting 5 months of this already. 5 months of this nonsense, and it still doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Like on this, so like
because they're gonna slow move it. I think there's so many different moving parts and different facets to this. We've only seen the initial. Here's why they're getting in trouble. So much more information has come from this investigation. You can't tell me that people do this. There's people with sexual allegations out there and stuff like that. Is there no punitive damage or punitive not punitive? Is there no punishment for them? Do they just get to walk away and be like, well, I resign. I'm gonna go to my Caribbean, or what's the closest country that does not have extradition laws with the U.S.?
Seriously,
I don't know, dude. But I mean, like,
what?
It's freaking. It's just it's a mess, man. And then plus, it's like not even only that, but this case, because I mean, Lex was saying something about 2 weeks ago about like the opposite side, the prosecution side's in trouble right now with this. Like, we're not gonna see, like, this thing is going to be stretched on for I don't know how long, but still, it's like it's just sad to see. Just sad to see this. Sad to see this go. I mean, as for my personal feelings of the indefinite delay, I mean, I like, you've already drained me, Blizzard. I really don't care. I really don't care about like what they're going to do with it. So, but it's like, I just don't think like logically, like if you're a company that has two big AAA titles that are coming out, and then you're relying on one of them to be released next year, and then now you're pushing it back, telling your previous community that you're not supporting the original game anymore, and now you're telling them to wait even longer, but you don't know when. I don't know why you're going to get your money. I really don't know what's going to happen to you at this point. So we'll see. It's
at this point, crazy. I'm kind of like, I don't even really care.
I don't.
All this makes me want to play Borderlands more. I need to play Borderlands. I still have never played that game. Like, I played
it a little bit.
Yeah, I played Tales of Borderlands, which was a good one, but never played the originals.
I beat the second and third. I did not get all the way through the first, though. I barely played the first.
Was the first one just not good? It was not fun to you, or what?
I just never got around to playing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally have it. I just haven't. Yeah.
Okay, cool deal. Well, nice. All right, well, there we go. Smitty.
Yeah.
What is your topic, my dude?
Yeah. So I just I didn't even know that this was a thing, but apparently it is. But here on I believe it's the 17th. There is Final Fantasy VII. The first soldier is coming out. We got a glimpse at their intro for it, and I don't know how I feel about this. It's supposed to be a battle royale that is based within the Final Fantasy world. I believe it's like 30 years prior to the events of Final Fantasy VII. But it's developed by Square Enix. It is a mobile game, so it's not on PC or console, but it's on mobile, and it's going to be a battle royale. So you can pre-register now. It's free to play with in-app purchases. I just don't know how you go about making something like this into a BR, I guess. And some of the description says it puts you in the role of a customizable member of Mega Corporation Shinra's elite soldier unit in matches of up to 75 players. You can choose your own combat style, defeat monsters, earn experience points, and call iconic summons like Ifrit to fight for you, and ride across the battlefield on Chocobo. Which is really interesting. The spinoff is unlikely to include any grand revelations related to Final Fantasy VII Remake's Wild Ending or that of the Yuffie-centric downloadable content, but might tide fans over. So if you're into mobile games, which I know there is a pretty good sized community for mobile gaming, I think this is definitely one to maybe check out. I'm probably going to download it just to see what it's about. I'm not really a mobile gamer per se. I'm definitely not in that demographic, and I'm certainly not a battle royale player either. But within that world, I think it could be interesting, and I definitely would like to check it out just to see what it's all about. I just thought it was so crazy. Like, I feel like there's, you said that they announced this when they originally made the Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement. And I felt like it just kind of, I don't even remember it being announced then. And I certainly didn't see any kind of marketing or anything really for this, with it releasing here in like a week and a half. Kind of
on
under the radar.
You said iOS and Android, right?
Yes. Hold on. I know it's definitely iOS. I don't know if it is. Yes, it is iOS and Android.
Yeah, both. I'm not wasting my time on this personally. I'm
not even gonna waste my time.
Well, you already know where I stand with phone games, man. Like, phone games are built to never last, to always to ever last. There's no endings to them. The only reason why you would want to do it is you're wanting to make money. Like, it's built specifically to sap money away from the buyer. And this isn't new with Square Enix and stuff, because Square Enix actually has a huge mobile division with all this stuff when you really think about it. So like overall, like, this is just saying they're just trying to find more hands in the cookie jar by just slapping a game that's saying it's part of Final Fantasy VII's crazy lore from the most part. Seven's lore, like, so they're saying, this takes place 30 years before or whatever, like the war or whatnot, why they have super soldiers. Like, I don't freaking care. It's like, it's just it's a game that's on Android, that's on an Android device that's supposed to do BR. That makes me not even that, like, when you said BR, I was already not interested. And then when you said Android, I was like, okay, we're done. I was like,
what is it about Android?
It's just the games, dude. Like, okay, so the Android, in my opinion, and this is just my own biased opinion. This is not like right or wrong. Android, like, any games that are on, like, phone, like, personally, are not like traditional games to me, like, theoretically, like what we normally did on, like, a console game and stuff. They have ports, they have different kinds of things. They tried their best to make their own individual games, but like, they really rule, like, downloads for these games a success if they still consistently make money. So if you make a game that actually has an ending, or something that has like that actually finishes, then it's technically not successful for the fact that you are not gaining consistent money from whales and stuff like that. So that's the mentality that I've always thought about what Android is. That's why Android's library of games is so ridiculous, and there's so many duplicate of the same kind of games out there. Like, I mean, how many versions of Bejeweled are there? But they have a patch of, like, Family Guy skins and stuff like that.
Don't talk about Bejeweled that way.
I'm just saying that's what it is, It's just like
it's
I just think
airport game.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that's just how it is. Like, I mean, so that's why I don't take Android or iOS games seriously. 9 times 10. I mean, Apple has Apple games, but that's kind of borderline, but it's not, but a game on a phone, like, phone. No, thank you. It's always paid. It's always going to be pay to win. So like,
They're
or
they're
pay as a
gotcha games
service and stuff.
essentially,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of mobile games, let's go to our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I love that
I
game.
had to say
That
it.
game is fun.
I have to say it. I was thinking it the whole
Oh,
time, and Dust
Raid
typed
Shadow
it in
Legends.
chat. I was like, wow,
That's-
insane. So
that's
I don't play mobile games that often. Every time I download them, I just get angry. He plays mobile games all day long. His phone is next to him, and there's just a battle happening. Always, always. I think he sets it up for when he sleeps too. So this is more or less something Dust would play. I don't think he plays battle royales necessarily, but I mean, the kitty cat with the horns looks real fun to beat up,
Mhm.
you know? So maybe, yeah, that's a big cat. That's a big cat. Not my jam. It's just not my jam. It's not my jam. No shade. I'm not a big mobile game person. I don't see very well. And like, you're gonna make them this big. I can't see nothing. No glasses, who this? I still can't see it. So, I just staring at my phone for too long just doesn't do me any good. And I played Candy Crush for many, many years, and I think it's just salt in the wound. I'll never get back from that.
It's like, oh man, it's crazy. Oh wow, I'm frozen on YouTube and Facebook. What is going on?
Rutro, so am I.
Weird. So am I.
Yeah.
But here's the real thing. You're wrong, Davis. Because mobile games is a huge industry, and they're actually developing games. I do understand what you're saying, and I think it's a lot more prevalent within maybe the Google Play Store and those kind of just generic, like they're all just cookie cutter games. But I do have Apple mobile or Apple Games. And there are some actual legit games on there, and I find myself playing like. Yeah, they do. Like it is definitely changing and shifting. And not only that, but you got to think, look how popular, like, say, Call of Duty on mobile is. That has got a huge base. I actually think this could actually do, and Fortnite and stuff too. So I think this actually can do really well. And of course, it's always going to lead towards they're going to look to make their money with that in-app purchase stuff. I'm fine with that stuff. As long as it's cosmetic and not, hey, I can get this weapon exclusively if I pay this money. Exactly.
Right. Okay, but look at it this way, though. This is what I'm saying, though, on it. And how dare you say I'm wrong? I'm just kidding. But I will say this, though. Dude, see, Apple Games, like I said, it's kind of borderline. But, like, the way that they advertise Apple Games is that it's not necessarily, it's not specifically something that you only can only play on your phone. There's the way that they have it as as something that you can actually use on your television or your tablets and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily an Apple store, like the traditional Apple, like the kind of games that you're saying that's on the Play iOS and stuff. But like overall, like, and that's where that change is, where I say the biggest change is coming from, because Apple's games, an Apple Games library, there's no, I don't believe there's any games that are gotcha like that. I think they're actual games that are just either simple like play games and stuff that have like infinite stages and stuff like that.
Oregon Trail, there's a Star Trek game on there. I've been playing. Well, that one's something else, but
I mean, Angry Birds too. They want me to buy stuff all the time, and I'm like, no.
See, but that's a gotcha game, though. that's like that is the beginning of gotchas here in the U.S.
For you, buy these coins. I'm like, no, I will not. And I wait.
So but I'm just saying that the iOS field is littered with that. Like there's you just can't, I don't think that there's a way to kind of say for instance, you won't see a company to say, hey, we're going to have the next Resident Evil game on the phone, even though everyone has a phone and everyone can get it. We'll have access to get it, but it's not going to be successful. Like it's not going to be a successful game because there's going to be an end. Or even the prime example of that was remember Mario Brothers Run? When it was just a constant Mario Brothers stage, a lot of people downloaded it. They had literally millions of downloads from it, but it was not technically. Nintendo called it not a success because there was no level of microtransactions that was set in that game. And then without that feed of constant money coming into that one game, that's the one thing I really don't like. I really can't say, because like, you imagine Guardians of the Galaxy has no DLC that they're planning on doing, and you can't, like, just no freaking way that thing would survive if they ever switched it over. I mean, and stuff, things like you won't see those kind of games ever for that market, because the market isn't catered for that. It's catered mostly for people that are companies that are just trying to get constant flow of money. And that's for Fortnite. The number one place where people get their DLC from, or their microtransaction, isn't even on the phone. It's on the PlayStation, which is odd enough to me.
That is.
So that's why I'm just like, no, I really like. And then when you're trying to make a game that's catered for BR and stuff like that, I mean, like I said, this isn't the first time Square made a catered game specifically for BR for phones. There's two other Final Fantasy 7 games that are under the same kind of titles under the 7 series that was on phone prior to it, back in the day. So like in those games were like were crazy. So I just think that it was I mean, that like I said, it's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I need an ending. I need some sort of reason, and let alone BR doesn't do it for me unless it's Battlefield. And then go with it.
I think for those that it does, though, it's a free game, so it's worth it's worth a download just to see and check out and see how it is, because I mean, I don't even like playing BRs really on PC or console. I don't imagine that experience is going to be any different or better on a phone. But just because it's Final Fantasy, I'll take a look. I do it. I'm like, I'll download you, see what you're all about. But
sure.
if it stays on my phone, that is probably pretty unlikely. We'll see though.
Right. Exactly. So
feel that.
Man, I don't know why we're still frozen on here. I don't know what I can do to unfreeze us on
messed us up.
Right when we started, you skipped a little, like your voice skipped.
Yeah.
And from there on out, it's just been like freezing up.
I noticed myself once freeze, but I didn't. Yeah, I see it's just froze on.
Yeah.
Let me stop and turn it back on again. I don't know. Maybe that will fix it up.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is it's always interesting. I feel seeing stuff like that come into the mobile space. I feel like I'm definitely kind of in that old man mentality as well. Mobile gaming has just never really been the thing for me. I typically don't keep games on my phone because I'll get super sucked into them. They do exactly what they say they're going to do.
Same.
Black and white. And they just suck you in. You'll play and play and play. I got a couple of games on there, but I try to limit my time doing it because otherwise I will totally get sucked in and play for hours.
Yeah, that's
cue the rain for him. He looks like he's sad.
There we go. I'm not sad anymore. Yeah,
don't be
it's like
sad.
one of those depression drug videos that you see, commercials that you see. You just see the black and white, the initial, and it's like, try Cialis or some kind of random thing. All right. Okay, so getting back into it. All right, guys. Now we'll just close this off with Lex.
Yeah.
What are you going to bring to the table?
Good question. So, I mean, if you guys don't know, hi, I am a robot. It's a joke, but it's kind of not. I have, an electronic device in my brain that siphons excess fluid, which it's not working today. I don't want to talk about it. So I'm leaning to the left. And it drains it into my stomach. But I'm light sensitive, and I wasn't light sensitive before brain surgery. It's a condition after, and it's just one of those things where it makes games a little harder for me to see. My phone brightness is really low, so when I hand my phone over to show somebody photos, they can never see. It's just one of those things I have to live with, and it is what it is. And all the time people are like, well, why don't you try, the different modes that they have? They have colorblind modes, but I'm not colorblind. So when I saw the article about Forza, I went, good for them. Good for them. I wish people would implement these more into other games. I hope this is the future of that. I don't play Forza. It's not a game that I was looking forward to playing. I just appreciate what they're doing. So Forza Horizon 5, and if you guys don't know, I wouldn't say I'm fluent anymore. I don't have anyone to speak to. I took sign language for 6 years in college. I wanted to be an interpreter for court reporting because a lot of the times things are mistranslated. So when I said out loud before we started the podcast that I thought this was cool that they were going to have an on-screen interpreter for the cutscenes, Davis said, why would they want to do that? I'll tell you why. Closed captioning is hard to follow. And with sign language, a lot of the interpretive part of it is in the face. So how do you get the nuance of the conversation? Where is this going? Is there like a little jab, like a little poke at the fun? Is there sarcasm? You can tell that by the way that they make their facial expressions while signing. That's why a lot of interpreters are now at concerts and things like that, because it gives you more of an in-person experience if you are of the deaf community. So Forza Horizon has not just only done that, but they've done extra with accessibility features with people who are, in fact, light sensitive, different color features for people who are colorblind. And they're not just doing ASL, which stands for American Sign Language. They're also doing BSL, which is British Sign Language. They are very different. There is some crossover with a lot of the sign language, but for the most part, if I went to Spain and I was, American Sign Language with the deaf community there, it's a different language. But for what happens is you can turn it on in the accessibility, and basically then when you're watching all of the cutscenes, there is a physical interpreter on your screen then doing all of the sign language for you, which is the first of its kind. There's no video game out there that does this. And again, it's hard to follow closed captioning for people who were born deaf in the deaf community. It's not like us who are maybe a little hard of hearing, or maybe sometimes you miss things in a movie and you really want to make sure you don't. For myself, that's, I hear it ringing all the time. So I always have closed captioning on because whispering's hard for me to hear. But I understand where the conversation's going. I can hear the nuances in the voice. I can then follow through with the closed captioning. But for someone in the deaf community who cannot hear, that's just not how it goes. And so I just thought it was really cool, and I thought I would highlight them today for doing something really commendable. And I think it's sad that I have to say that, because it shouldn't be something that's commendable. Everyone should be doing this. And I think it needs to be more mainstream. You know what I mean? To be honest
with you, though, like I will say this, though, it's like you're saying, like it's really hard for deaf people to be keeping up with closed captions. I mean, dude, you're playing a racing game, and you're trying to
There's story. This
is part of the story.
Yeah,
so this is during the cutscenes. This is not during the actual racing.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking like, man, I'm just thinking like just normal multitasking on just that alone is already pretty tricky in itself. But I'm just saying this though. I mean, first off, I will say this. It's really like I'm really glad that they're taking accessibility to like levels that we've never would have ever expected to be. Because remember when we did the spoiler cast for Last of Us Part 2? Because I think that was really the start of when all that started happening.
Play that game with your eyes closed.
Essentially, yeah, that's what they basically were saying. Like they were wanting to make you able to play and beat the game if you're completely blindfolded if you wanted to.
Right.
But so that was the mentality. I'm really glad that pressure of that has not been like it's just been getting better for people who have disabilities and stuff, because now the standard has the markers have gotten higher for all of this, and then who's to say that it's possible that since Forza is the first to do of its kind to do it, which is surprisingly of all the games out there, Forza is the one that's like
right.
use sign language for it. But like it's just another step. I mean, it's going to take better and better. I mean, because like really,
They
when
probably have a huge dev community following.
oh, they most definitely have to for something like this. But really, that's why Able Gamers is out there. To be honest with you, it's like they're the ones they work with these companies now. They're to a point where they're working with these companies on like saying this is what we need because we can't do like the accessibility so people can actually experience gaming the same way as regular like people who don't have disabilities and stuff. So I think that it's just another bar that's now been set that now people need to see to come across to say, okay, this makes sense. This is where we're needing to go with like when you can kind of make a little bit of fun with it. Like, can you imagine if they had Guardians of the Galaxy sign language people just cosplaying as some of the aliens or something like that? That would be pretty cool. Awesome. Like, I mean, they could easily just kind of do things like do with that, So like, I think that like that kind of accessibility would be freaking awesome to have. And I mean, who's going to say no to this?
You also made a comment, and I do want to clarify, just in case nobody else knows this. So when you take sign language courses, a lot of the times your professors are deaf in college, which is more immersive. It's great. They can play a game and watch an interpreter at the same time. I'm just going to put that out there. Like when you are speaking to someone in sign, or you're signing to them rather, because it's not spoken, they are not looking at your hands. They're looking you in the eyes. They're not looking at your hands. Yeah. So they have very good field of vision most of the time. And so that's something to keep in. They could absolutely put an interpreter on the corner of the screen where nothing's really happening, and they would absolutely be able to watch the interpreter and still play the game at the same time.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about like, for instance, a game like Grand Theft Auto 3 or Grand Theft Auto, the new Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that. It's like, can you imagine like, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happening at the same time while they're talking in the story. Well, then you have a person doing all of that. There's a lot, there's a lot of things happening. It's like when with it. So I mean, yeah, you're right. People's focus will probably be way better than mine, but I'm just saying that it's a lot of stuff is happening on the screen. But what were you going to say, Smitty?
Yeah, I love it. And actually, the dude that did the accessibility, that consulted for that, was Brandon Cole. We interviewed him on LAN parties, and Super Blind Man, I think, is his Twitch name. He's on Twitch, by the way. But yeah, it's like not only that, but then, being friends with Lex too is definitely something that I look at more, is just what kind of accessibility options games do. That's something that I looked at when I was reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought theirs was a little on the weaker side. Yeah, as far as with that. So that was a little disappointing. But that was something that we had talked about, is that, look, you can see that. I mean, Brandon is blind. So he plays these games, and for him to be able to have insight into and help these companies develop these accessibilities is what's needed. This again is another company, another game taking that extra step to be inclusive, to be able to allow more people to enjoy this game. This doesn't mean that people can't play it if it wasn't there. It means that they're able to enjoy it more. It's more of a comfortable feeling, and it seems like, oh, this is made specifically for somebody that has something to where this would be beneficial. I think this is awesome. I love seeing it. There needs to be more of this with games, within game companies, and where you can, again, there's places that stuff like this will work. There's places that it's not going to work. But, let's get some of those voices in there, in those rooms as they're developing this stuff, and let's see what we can do. Technology is crazy right now. There's all kinds of ways that we can make these games more accessible to everybody. And I just absolutely love seeing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like if someone's bad mouths about it's like there's too much accessibility options. There's something wrong with that person.
You can just leave them off, right?
Yeah, no. Like, do you remember how bad accessibility was? Like when you seriously sit down and think about how bad it was. Like, not even shoot, we don't even have to go that far back, 10 years ago. It was just it was mostly colorblind mode, and that's really about it. It was the colors of the range may be softer and stuff for someone to kind of have somewhat of a good experience. But now this is talking about your controls, your steering, your eye, the eye,
high contrast, low
your
contrast.
eye contrast and stuff. It is freaking
audible cues.
Yeah, the breakdown of it is just night and day difference
Mhm.
towards that. Like I guarantee you, but no, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised that this is something that Microsoft is actually starting to kind of put their foot, like being more serious about, because when you
Yeah.
think about it, they're also the ones that made the accessibility controller. You remember
Yeah.
the one with the giant, like with the additional parts depending on, like, so like if you're a paraplegic or if you have any other issues or have
Right.
like you have no strength in one arm and stuff like it's fully customizable to your stuff that you could use, so you could have a good playing experience as a gamer for that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm still, yeah. So I think that, like, overall, it's great. It's a really cool thing that they're taking incredibly seriously, and then really, to be honest with you, shout out to Able Gamers, because really, I think that really
Mhm.
the company the group that really changed all of this for people to open an eye. It's like, you know what, we didn't even think about that. We'll start doing that,
Right.
and then
Right.
is Able Gamers. Was that group, because they've opened a new door, and they actually opened a new venue of people having a chance to play games that they didn't ever think that they would ever play on their own.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and it's interesting too, because and Smitty said it really well earlier when we were talking about, because we're going to Arizona for next weekend for Extra Life. You know, I always ask, because it's a fight everywhere I go when my service dog comes with me.
Mhm.
Regardless that she's supposed to be there, she's supposed to be my handler. She's taking care of me, especially when I'm going to be gone for several days. Whether or not dust comes or not, she's supposed to be with me. She wants to work again. She's showing initiative. And Smitty's like, I never really think you and Opie are one to me. And Davis was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'll ask. And it's more of like well, you don't have to ask. You just have to tell them there's going to be a service dog there. And I think people forget that, yes, she's cute, and yes, she is a dog, but she's not a pet. Yes,
Right.
we can
Mm.
play with her with her vest off. And she is goofy, and she's a huge personality, but she's
Mhm.
not when she's her vest on, she's working. It's two different Opies. It's almost like she's a split dog. She's two different
Mm.
people, essentially. And she has human rights when her vest is on, which I think
Mm.
people forget that. And I think because Smitty has dealt with me and Opie for so many years, he's just like, yeah, accessibility for all, and that makes me happy. I'm like, well, and I'm glad in it. If this is one route that can happen, amazing. Now, if they can
Mhm.
make a video game for my service dog, thank you. I'm kidding. Opie likes watching monitors, but she's right there. Opie. But yeah, I think this is a huge step, because if we can make these moves in smaller numbers here, I think it opens people's eyes in other areas, right? In other avenues. Because if they're so used to accessibilities being in their everyday gaming, then they're going to stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves in the real world, is how
Mhm.
I feel. I feel that
Yeah.
this is a huge movement it starts small, and it moves into real world possibilities, and I think that's where we kind of need to put our minds at. Just because I look normal, I wish that's just not the case, and I have people come into my chat all the time. They're like, what do you mean you can't see? I can see right there. It's right there. I'm glad you can. I can't. They're like, well, what are the glasses for? I'm like, for normal vision. I have a shunt, dude. They're like, what? A what? I'm like, no, I'm not cussing at you. I have a shunt, a thing in my head. So, it's I think this is a huge step for mankind, essentially. And I
Right.
like that. It makes me happy. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Well, good deal. Good deal.
Good job, man.
Lex.
You can also pick that up, by the way.
yeah,
It's on Game Pass. Just gotta throw
it
that out
is.
Oh,
there.
oh, nice. Was it? It's only no. Well, can you only play it on the piece? The Xbox, or can you do it on PC too?
No, that's what I'm talking about. It's on
Both.
Game Pass.
You can do it on
Well,
both. It's okay.
no. Well, GameCast, the Ultimate Game Pass. There's certain games that you can't do on PC. That's why I was wondering.
My
Oh,
understanding is that everything that's coming out is also going to be accessible on the PC Game Pass.
correct. That's what I
Yes.
was
Okay.
under the assumption.
That's
of
what
as
I.
well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Well,
I'll look. I will make
check-
sure I look. I'll
for
check
me,
and
'cause, like,
see.
if that's the case, with that and it's that and Age of Empires 4 is the two I was like. The Age of
I need
Empires
to
4
play
was really
that.
the one. Yeah, so
I
we'll
really
see.
need to play that. I love those games.
Yeah, so we'll go with it. Hey, Lex,
Yeah.
What do you have planned for the week?
Getting ready for this weekend, really. Just probably going to be playing some more frustrating Dark Deception because I love to torture myself. I would love to play some more Back for Blood. And I'm loving Devour. I need more people to play Devour with me. Okay, that is all. That's it.
How about you, Smitty? What you got planned?
Well, now that we can move past Metal Gear, I need to finish off Deathloop and In Sound Mind.
I need to play that too.
Yeah, In Sound Mind as well is we're getting closer to the end of that game, so I'm gonna probably play through that, and then obviously gearing up for the extra live stream next week and heading down to Phoenix to raise some money for the kids. You know what it is. You know what it is.
Yeah. Yep. No.
What about you, man?
All right, and I am going to play. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be playing some Lost Ark, the closed beta. So originally I was going to do what I normally do, which is about 3 days of something else, and then 3 days of something else. Not this time because this I don't have time for next week because once again we're all going to be in Arizona. I'll be leaving on Thursday, so I should be there like Thursday night, Friday night, or whatever, Friday morning. But yeah, but I'm going to focus on the beta. Focus on the beta more seriously and until its end pitch for Lost Ark. So definitely, if you want to check that new stuff out, come on by. So, guys, this was episode number 114 of the CFG GameCast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again, not next week, but the week after next. Wait, is the week after next Thanksgiving? I want to make sure because I always
is it
1, 2. No, it's okay. We're in the middle of the lull. Man, the 19th gonna be 19th gonna be busy because we got Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker and Battlefield 4 comes out. So looking forward to Battlefield. That's gonna be nice. But we'll be back on the 19th of November. We are going to be we're going to be traveling to Arizona for a 24-hour stream. You can check that stream out on CFG Games. We're going to be raising money for the Phoenix Children's Hospital. So definitely do that there. And we're also giving away a PS5 for raffle for any donations for it. So if you wanted to be a part of the raffle, just do !PS5, just $20 donation. They let you in, and you'll be all set. And that's it. But thank you for being a part of this conversation as always. We'll be back again on the 19th. But be sure if you do miss this episode, that is perfectly all right. We always release it out on Monday mornings at the beginning of each week. So if you didn't see our episode today, that you can check it out on any podcast services later. And so there's absolutely no reason to miss our sexy voices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much. And also, if you want to see some more awesome content from us, go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to check out all the new news, reviews, interviews, and so much more that we like to do. So we got some awesome, cool stuff coming in the works. I can't wait till next week where I can announce the thing I'm doing with Netflix. So that's going to be freaking awesome.
Nice.
So yeah. So
we don't even know. So if you guys are like, what the heck? We don't even know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yep, that's true.
They can't tell us. We don't even know.
Yeah. Well, this is Lex, Smitty, and Davis signing off. Y'all take it easy.